Good afternoon, Guyana, and thank you very much for joining us for another edition of Recount Update. My name is Hugh Todd, and today joining us is Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, who is the People's Progressive Party Civics Prime Ministerial candidate. Good afternoon, Brigadier, and thank you for joining us. I understand you're at the Convention Center.
Yes, you start. Good afternoon. I'm at the Artichong Conference Center here, observing what is supposed to be the final day of the recount. Go ahead.
So we've had a long process, a protracted process. We should be wrapping up today. What are your thoughts so far on the process leading to the recount, as well as all of the difficulties and challenges we've had, many that we've overcome, to get to this stage where Guyana is anxiously awaiting a declaration following the tabulation of this process?
Well, you know, as I said, you and to you, the viewers from all over Guyana and internationally, this is the near culmination of a struggle for democracy in Guyana. Everybody is aware as to why we are at this recount process. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Right. You know, the elections of March the 2nd is just part of this process. Democracy was derailed long before that in Guyana. As you could recall, we had a no confidence motion in December 2018. A no confidence motion, the results of which the present administration has basically refused to accept the outcome of the no confidence motion. They took recourse to the courts. The court has ruled that the no confidence motion was proper, and we should have had elections immediately after the no confidence motion.
Yes.
We had elections on March the 2nd. Again, those elections, you know, there was an attempt to rig the elections by elements of GCOM, especially led by Mr. Mingo. We are at the stage now where today, hopefully, will be the final day for the recount. And we should have that proverbial last ballot box counted today. My understanding is that we have like about 17 more ballot boxes to be counted, and now being just about 3 o'clock, with about 3 to 4 hours to go, we can finish counting 17 ballot boxes from the 12 available counting stations today. And I have no reason to believe that we will not achieve that. The hardworking staff there, the agents from all the parties are there, and they will continue to work together. And without any interference, hopefully, they will achieve the target of counting that proverbial last ballot box today.
Yes, thank you very much for that. We are well aware that the APNO-FC, or I should rather say the PNC-led coalition, they've been pulling out all stops to try to discredit the election of March 2nd. We've seen shenanigans, we've seen the distractions, we've seen the lies, we've seen the misinformation, and we are convinced that they were trying to derail democracy here in Guyana. Do you think that that machinery down at Congress Place is now broken, now that we are at the closing point of this recount process?
Well, that machinery was broken long before now. You know, you know, they try to keep themselves alive by, you know, disseminating, you know, lies to their supporters, lies to the Guyanese, lies to the world. That machinery is aware that the PPPC won these elections, as I mentioned before, by close of business on Tuesday, the 3rd of March. They were aware of the PPPC's victory. And, you know, in the usual manner, they continue to make things difficult for all Guyanese. by wanting to hold on to office by all means necessary. The reality is that the writing was on the wall for them, and we are reaching the stage where they will have to demit office. The order states that the counting must finish by the 13th of June. The counting is going to finish today, hopefully. The tabulation will continue, and by the 16th of June, a declaration must be made by the chairperson of GCOM. We on track for that declaration to be made, and notwithstanding the shenanigans, by that machinery, that declaration will be made come the 16th of June. And we are confident that that declaration will show that the PPPC has won these elections.
Yes, thank you for that, Brigadier. Moving on to the third point. We've seen coming out in protests against the allegations made by the APNO AFC. The false claims they made about many persons who were deceased, voted, migrated, voted. They did not give any credence to those persons who came out, and we know why. GCOM did not really pay any attention to that, but the people of Guyana were informed. We went to great lengths to ensure that people were in the loop, get the full view of the real face of the PNC, the party that has dominated the coalition over the last 5+ years. Is Guyana on board? Is Guyana on board with democracy? Is Guyana aware that the PNC-led coalition government has been trying to stymie the democratization process in Guyana? They have lost the elections. People are now ready to move on. Do you agree with me?
People were ready to move on a long time from the people of Guyana were ready to move on for a long time before now. The people voted the coalition out of office since December 2018 without no confidence motion. We should have had the elections 3 months after then.
Yes.
They took a long time. They hung on to office. They took a long time, and we have the elections now. And really, they should step aside, as I mentioned before, and allow people to get back into their economic activities, right? We have a pandemic to deal with. Allow a legitimate government to put proper systems that we have now in place to deal with the pandemic, allow people to get back into their social and other activities in this country, right? This has been for too long. Many countries came after us, had elections, and have their results out. Only next door, Suriname, the results are out. They had elections last Monday, the results are out, right? And everybody, regardless whether they voted for the PPPC or they voted for the coalition or they voted for any one of the smaller parties, everybody wants the outcome of this election as early as possible in keeping with the set timelines, and everybody wants to move on. And by now, the coalition should know that. I know they continue to have press conferences. Right now, Mr. Alexander is speaking to the media under the tent in front of the Artichon Conference Center. And again, they're talking about evidence that they have. Now, the only credible evidence that attempted or used to attempt the derailment of this process, this electoral process, was the work of Mr. Mingo. And I keep referring it to the mischief of Mr. Mingo. And that is the only credible evidence that can stand up in any court in Guyana. What they're claiming, they have 6,100 and something itemized actions that they consider to be evidence that they're going to take before the court, fine. Nothing wrong with you having it, but allow the process to complete. And when the process is completed, go before the courts in the form of a petition with all the evidence, all the allegations, all the observations that they compile, take it before the court. The law provides for that.
Yes.
But they cannot use that to delay the inevitable, which is the declaration by the chairperson of GCOM on the 16th or before the 16th of June.
I agree with you, and I'm sure the rest of Guyana agrees with you. We are aware that the APNU FC came up with numbers. They've published it, and they're claiming that they can only accept 70,000 legitimate voters based on their wild assertions or crazy assertions. They are basically trying to disenfranchise about 400,000 legitimate voters, even throwing some of their own supporters under the bus. Is this a case whereby the party itself, the ideology that they follow, if they cannot hold on to power, they prefer to see destruction? Isn't this something that goes against the grain of good democratic principles, something that they were trying to champion coming into the 2015 elections? Is it very visible, the true nature of the PNC machinery at work here?
Well, another example of the true nature of the coalition and their antics. You know, here again, they want to do the work of GCOM. The big lady at GCOM, the chairperson, said every vote will be counted. How can they come now and tell us it's only 75,000 votes that are valid? That is not their role. It's the role of GCOM to determine what should be counted and what should not be counted. And the chairperson of GCOM is on record before the commencement of this recount saying that every vote will be counted. So again, this is a desperate announcement, a desperate act by the coalition. While it might be deemed laughable, you know, I cannot laugh at it because this is desperate. This is dangerous. They don't want to discredit. They don't want to discredit and disenfranchise the valid votes of people by coming up with their own theory, their own, you know, formula for the votes, right? And that is not necessary. That is not going to be accepted by any election commission, any part of the world. So we shouldn't even discuss that. Perhaps you could laugh at it, but then again, you know, this is another act of desperation. It's bordering on them being crazy. You know, and I'm reminded of the saying that who the gods want to destroy, the force make them mad. I hope the comrades over there are not running mad. They're probably running scared.
Hope not.
The time is now for them to pull themselves together and accept the inevitable outcome that will be communicated to the Guyanese people come the 16th of June or before the 16th of June by the chairperson of GCOM.
Yes. Thank you, Brigadier. As we close the curtains on the recount, we know that the APNU FC has been trying to get GCOM or some elements in GCOM to derail the process by talking about all of the allegations that need to be investigated and scrutinized, and the Congress Place machine was really trying to ramp up its pressure to try to get GCOM to adhere to the rules. But we all know that GCOM's only responsibility is to deal with the recount, and everything else that is not germane to the recount process can be dealt with. Don't you believe that the people of Guyana are pretty much au fait now and comfortable with the process? And even those supporters who voted for the APNU FC and who may still continue to vote for the APNU FC, do you think that they are also aware that this process is over, the APNU FC has lost, and they themselves are willing to accept PC as the winner of these elections?
Well, you know, the supporters out there, they're not stupid. They're listening. And generally, they're slowly coming around to the conclusion that indeed the PPPC are the winners of this elections. And what is also important, they're hearing the message from the PPPC. The PPPC has communicated clearly that in forming the next government of Guyana, they will govern for all Guyanese. Whether you voted for the PPPC, whether you voted for the coalition on any one of the other small parties, the PPPC will be governing for all Guyanese. We want everybody to come together and work in unison towards and for the development of Guyana. We have resources, but if we can work together and put this election behind our back, we can make Guyana a better place for us and better place for our children.
Yes, and in closing, you still have to address Mingo's fraudulent declarations. Must this not be dealt with?
I didn't hear you.
We still have to deal with Mingo's fraudulent declarations for Region 4.
Exactly.
These must be dealt with.
Exactly. And as I said, I want to bet you that the last ballot box that will be counted today is likely to have evidence of Mingo's mischief. What we have to do is to have Mingo placed before the court. The APNU AFC has been silent on Mingo. If you check, there are over 6,000 annotated allegations of fraud and misdemeanors here. Mingo is not listed there. But what they need to do is put away that list as much as possible and just make a list for Mingo. And take that list before the courts. Take Mingo before the court, because that is the only credible evidence coming out of this elections. And I wish to ask the people of Guyana to be calm, right? Allow the day to finish, allow the count to finish, allow the tabulations to finish, allow the reports to be completed and handed in, allow the GCOM commissioners to deliberate on those reports, and allow the Madam Chair to make her declarations on or before the 16th of June, right? So we all can have a government in place and have peace in Guyana as we develop this beautiful country.
Prime Ministerial candidates and the next Prime Minister, thank you very much for joining us, Brigadier, and do have a pleasant rest of your evening. To
thank you.
Across Guyana, and for those of you who are watching from abroad, thank you for following us. Thank you very much for being patient, for being understanding, for being resilient, I should say as well, because your understanding of the issues, your appreciation of how democracy works is important in moving this country forward. So we thank you all for your support and continue to support us post-declaration. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers.